When the world changes, and the systems we rely on collapse, survival comes down to the basics: food and water. In normal life, we don't think twice about going to the supermarket or turning on the tap, but in an apocalypse, those comforts will be gone. If you want to survive, and not just survive but rebuild a life, you need to know how to grow your own food and how to make dirty water safe to drink. In this video, I will take you through everything you need to know, from choosing the right crops and planting them properly, to saving seeds for the future, and finally to finding and purifying clean water. This is your survival guide to life after collapse. The first thing to understand is why growing food matters so much. Stored food, no matter how much you have, will eventually run out. Supermarket shelves will be empty, cans and the shelf life of dried goods is limited, and hunting and scavenging cannot feed you forever. The only way to secure a future is to create food that renews itself, season after season. A small garden, even the size of a few buckets or a corner of land, can keep you alive. Growing food means independence, health, and hope in a world where everything else may feel uncertain. To begin growing food in the apocalypse, you need a few basic materials. The most important is soil, because soil is life. Good soil is dark, rich, and full of nutrients. If the soil around you is poor, you can improve it with compost made from kitchen scraps, leaves, and even grass clippings. The second thing you need is seeds or plant cuttings. These can come from food you already have, like beans, potatoes, or garlic, or from wild plants you discover. The third thing you need is water, because nothing grows without it. You also need a space to plant, whether that's a patch of ground, a raised bed, or simple containers like buckets, plastic bottles, or wooden boxes. And finally, you'll need tools, though in a survival situation your hands, a knife, or a stick can work just as well as a shovel. Once you have your materials, the next question is, what should you grow? In survival gardening, some crops are far better than others. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are among the best because they grow underground, are full of calories, and can be stored for months after harvest. Beans and lentils are vital because they provide protein, which is rare in plant foods, and they even improve the soil by adding nitrogen. Corn is another excellent choice because it produces a lot of food, grows tall, and provides support for climbing beans. Squash and pumpkins are large, heavy fruits that can be stored for a long time, and their broad leaves spread across the ground, keeping the soil moist and blocking weeds. Fast-growing leafy greens like spinach, kale, or cabbage provide vitamins and minerals your body desperately needs. And onions and garlic, though small, are powerful for both flavor and medicine, helping fight infections in times when there are no doctors. To make your garden even more productive, you can use something called companion planting. This is the practice of planting crops together so that they help each other grow. One of the oldest and most famous examples is called the Three Sisters, used by indigenous peoples of the Americas. In this system, corn, beans, and squash are grown together. The corn grows tall and gives the beans a stalk to climb. The beans add nitrogen to the soil, which feeds all three plants. The squash spreads its wide leaves across the ground, keeping moisture in the soil and stopping weeds from growing. Together, these three plants grow better than they would alone. Other examples of companion planting include carrots and onions, which protect each other from pests, and tomatoes with basil, where basil improves the flavor and keeps insects away. This method saves space, reduces the need for fertilizers, and copies the way nature works, plants living together in harmony. Planting is simple once you know the steps. First, prepare your soil by loosening it so roots can spread easily. If you have compost or organic matter, mix it in. Then plant your seeds at the right depth, usually about twice the size of the seed. Water the soil enough to keep it moist, but not so much that it becomes flooded. Most crops need at least 6 hours of sunlight each day, so choose a spot with good light if you can. Weeds will try to steal nutrients and water, so pull them out regularly. For pests, use natural defenses. A spray made from garlic, a sprinkle of ash, or planting herbs with strong smells can keep bugs away. The key is balance, not too dry, not too wet, not too crowded. If you follow these basics, your crops will grow. But survival is not just about one harvest, it's about the future. That is why saving seeds is one of the most important skills you can learn. Every plant you grow can give you seeds for the next planting season. To collect them, let the plant fully mature. For example, let beans dry on the vine, or let lettuce and spinach flower before you gather seeds. Dry the seeds completely to prevent mold, then store them in paper envelopes or glass jars. Always label them with the plant name and date, and keep them in a cool, dark, and dry place. Properly stored seeds can last for years and give you food again and again. In an apocalypse, seeds are as valuable as gold. Now that we know how to grow food, we must talk about water, because food is useless without it. The human body can survive weeks without eating, but only 3 days without water. And not just any water, safe water. And dirty water, full of bacteria or parasites, can kill you faster than hunger. So knowing how to find and purify water is just as important as growing food. There are many places to find water in nature. The easiest is rainwater. You can collect it with tarps, sheets of plastic, or even rooftops, letting the water drip into containers. Streams, rivers, lakes, and ponds are also common sources, but these must always be purified before drinking. In the morning, you can collect dew by wiping plants with a cloth and then squeezing the water out. If you live in a dry area, sometimes you can dig into a dry riverbed and find water just below the surface. Nature gives many options, but the key is knowing how to make the water safe. The most reliable way to make water safe is boiling. Bring the water to a rolling boil for at least 1 full minute. If you are at high altitude, boil for 3 minutes. This kills bacteria, viruses, and parasites. If boiling is not possible, you can filter water using simple materials. Take a container and cut a hole in the bottom. Inside, make layers. Gravel at the top, then sand, then charcoal made from burned wood. Pour the dirty water through this filter. The gravel and sand remove dirt, while the charcoal absorbs chemicals and improves the taste. The water that comes out will look cleaner, but remember, it should still be disinfected to make it safe to drink. Another method is solar disinfection, also known as SODIs. Fill a clear plastic bottle with water and leave it in strong sunlight for 6 hours. The ultraviolet rays from the sun kill most harmful organisms. This method is slow but requires nothing more than sunlight and bottles. Finally, in desert areas, you can build a solar still. Dig a hole in the ground. Throw in some plants, mold, or even dirty water if you have it. Place a container in the center, and cover the hole with clear plastic. Put a small rock in the center of the plastic so it points down above the container. The heat from the sun will make water evaporate from the soil, and the drops will collect on the plastic and fall into the container. This is a slow method, but in dry climates, it can save your life. Once you have safe water, storing it correctly is just as important. Keep it in sealed glass bottles, clay pots, or food-grade plastic containers. Store them in a cool, dark place, away from sunlight, to stop algae from growing. Rotate your stored water every 6 months if you can, to make sure it stays fresh. In the end, survival in the apocalypse is not about luck. It is about knowledge and preparation. If you know how to grow food, save seeds, and purify water, you can create a life even when the world has fallen apart. These skills are not just about staying alive. They are about rebuilding, creating stability, and finding hope in difficult times. So remember, start small, practice now, and when the time comes, you will be ready. Survival is not about waiting for disaster, it is about preparing today. If this guide was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more survival knowledge. The best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is today.